It's time to stop!
If you haven't used the internet for the past 2 years and don't know what an NFT is, it stands for a non-fungible token. It uses the same technology as a lot of cryptocurrencies with the blockchain to be able to give you a uniquely identified virtual item. While in a lot of cases this is a great thing, like being able to support online artists while they make their work and you're able to buy something unique from them, it's a pretty cool situation. With NFTs, you do have to look out for people doing some insider shenanigans. For example, say I have 2 friends and I want to sell an NFT for a lot. If I give my first friend $50 and say, hey, buy this thing from me so it shows on its record that it's been sold for $50, second friend then can buy it for $100 so it shows on record it's been sold for $50 and $100, then some sucker might see it, think it's going to be worth money, and they buy it when it really has no value. While this is very illegal in most other sales and financial categories, NFTs are very new and very unregulated, so people get away with this all the time. Now that you know a little bit about NFTs, how do they apply to video games? Well, as I'm sure you could imagine, people want to make in-game items NFTs. This would mean that players could get an individual unique item that only they can have and no one else can copy. A great example of this is a 100% NFT-based game called Axie Infinity. The simplest way to explain this game is NFT Pokemon. You essentially get these little creatures that are actually NFTs, and you battle with them and raise and reproduce them so you can sell them and buy other people's. While this was a cool little concept to start and was a great idea by someone to make it, to be honest, I wish I thought of that. While doing some research on this game in the early days, it looks like you could buy a starting lineup for around $10, while nowadays each individual Axie is well over $100, so getting a competitive lineup is going to cost you multiple hundreds of dollars just to get started in the game and be able to play it all. This transitions us to the big problem with NFTs in video games, so that it encourages even more whaling than already exists in video games. If you don't know, a whale is someone in a free-to-play game usually that will spend much more than the average player and is able to cover the game's cost for the rest of the player base by them spending so much and wanting an advantage through sheer money. While people with NFTs like to say they are investing instead of just spending money, the big problem with video games also is what happens when a game's popularity dies down, or even disappears completely, because we've seen that many times in the past for these online games. NFTs have the same problem as virtual real estate and other online scams, in that it is technically worth something because it has value when it starts, and the people who get into it early will most likely make money, but someone gets left holding the bag. It doesn't stay forever, and we've already seen this happen with virtual real estate and other things. Now, why am I making this video? That little letter that you could see at the beginning of the video with the Filthy Frank meme in front of it, well, that was written by the president of Square Enix, which is the company that makes Final Fantasy XIV and a lot of other video games. He essentially spat in the face of gamers by saying only some gamers like to have fun with video games and that there are many who would rather use it as an investment and time sink opportunity to be able to try to make money off of NFTs in a video game. This just pushes video games further down the corporate greed path that we've been seeing with companies like EA, not Square Enix. Square Enix has been good to this point, but Ubisoft, a few others that just publish these games that are complete cash grabs. We've already seen some sports games starting to want to implement, and some even have implemented NFTs into their games, and this is another awful opportunity because people are just going to buy packs and packs of cards trying to get the NFT they want. You're already playing a game that costs $60, which should be an enjoyable experience, but people aren't going to be able to have fun until they waste a ton of money, get the exact FIFA lineup that they want, and it is just a pile of crap for all gamers. Can you imagine something like Hearthstone if it had unique cards to it, and only a couple people could own the top cards? It would be such a shit show. I would hate to see that come to life, but we're already seeing that in a lot of games trying to put these collectible collections as NFTs. I just think it's a bit of an abuse of the technology. It's a great technology, as I said. If you want to support a known creator who's selling their art online as NFTs, that's cool, go do it. You know it's going to be something you'll enjoy. It's a good way to give them some money if you were going to give them money anyways. I wouldn't buy it just for the product, but if you want to support the creator, that's awesome. Monetization in video games has been and always should be a way to support the creators of the game. If they make an armor set that looks cool, you can enjoy it, you can give them money, the game keeps running, and everyone's happy. In NFT, people try to call it an investment, even in video games. I think that's not right. It just shouldn't exist. You shouldn't be playing a game to try and make money off of in-game items. You should be playing a game to have fun, play a game to escape from the real world, just anything besides trying to make more greed and real life money into it. I'll be really interested to see what happens this next year, to see how many big companies start pushing NFTs in their games. It's already a lot of smaller games that have tried to do it. Many have failed, a few have succeeded, like that Axie Infinity game I was talking about earlier. Many have tried the same thing and have completely failed it. So hopefully this trend doesn't pick up, but I can see if companies like Square Enix, Blizzard, these big MMO companies start trying to put NFTs in their games to give players unique experiences. I think it's going to end really poorly, so we'll see how many actually do it this next year, and I'm just going to keep my eye on it. If you're a fan of roguelike games, I'd highly recommend getting subscribed because I have a video on a 3D roguelike project I've been working on for a while, coming out pretty soon.